guys, welcome back to Survive to Thrive. It's gonna be kind of a short video. I'm running down here right now. I'm on Route 19 in West Virginia, heading down to pick up a load and take it up to Buffalo, New York. I was just watching in one of the Asian Mai videos that he put up today. The one about a driver that just bought a new truck. Well, not new, a used truck. And he paid $200,000 for a used 2020 Freightliner Cascadia. And now he's worried about the freight rates. He's worried about what the rates are doing. He's having to, book what he can to make sure he can make the payment on the truck. I feel bad, but I don't feel bad. When you get into this business, you don't jump into a business like this. Oh, that's bumpy. You don't jump into a business like this without doing any research. And if you do the least bit of research, you would see that this time last year, that truck he just bought, he could have bought for 90 grand. Maybe 100. It did only have 150,000 miles. But, he could have bought it for around 100 grand this time last year. And if he had seen that, then maybe he would decide, hey, maybe I should wait a little while, let prices settle, maybe see if they come back down, if the rates come back down. Well, if the rates go down, less people will be buying into this business, and there's going to be an influx of trucks at the dealers, and they're going to have to get rid of them because people are going to be going out of business. Their trucks are going to get repoed. Dealers are going to have more inventory as far as used goes, but they'll have less people willing to buy them. So naturally, supply and demand, the prices of the equipment's going to go down eventually. I don't know how soon or not, but eventually. It's not an overnight thing. So if he had done any kind of research, he would have seen that, or at least put the pieces of the puzzle together and been able to kind of forecast what might be, But instead he goes out and he buys, sorry for the clutch pedal squeak. I know I've had some people talk about that squeak in the video. I apologize. Anyway, if he goes out and buys a $200,000 truck, I don't know when he did it. I don't know if he did it like just recently or a few months ago or whatever. But he went out and bought that equipment, and the rates have been on a decline for a fair bit of time, so he should have been able to, like I said, I swear to God, I cannot drive and talk. And I was going to record this, and then as soon as I started the recording, like I was just cruising down the highway, and I could devote more attention to what I was saying. But as soon as I hit the record button, I come into a area with intersections and traffic lights. I've lost my train of thought. Oh boy. Okay, well anyway, basically what I was saying was, you don't buy a truck that's twice what it's worth when rates are lower than they have been. And granted, rates aren't terrible right now. I mean, they're not catastrophically bad. You know, there's a lot of doom and gloom right now, and they are still on the decline, but at the moment, they're still workable if you have a respectable business model. But he goes out and buys a $200,000 truck, and now he's trying to book whatever he can in order to make that truck payment. I don't even want to know what a $200,000 truck payment looks like. I mean, good Lord, this truck was expensive enough, and this truck payment, you know, it's like $1,800 a month I'm paying on this truck, and it was well below $100,000, you know. So more than double what this truck payment is. And I don't know if he's leased onto a carrier or if he's got his own authority. And if he has his own authority, I don't know if he has a trailer or if he's doing power only loads. I don't know what that part is. But if he paid $200,000 for a truck, then he probably paid at least $60,000 for a Drivein, and that's if you bought it used. So you're talking $260,000 right off the bat that he's in debt. And here's the problem. I made this comment on Asian Mai's video. People are talking about people driving down the freight rates because they're taking loads for $250 a mile that, you know, maybe 2 weeks ago went for $350 a mile. You know, but they're taking those lower rates because they're getting desperate right now. Gas, your fuel prices are at an all-time high. You know, equipment prices are at an all-time high. Everything is at an all-time high right now, except for the rates. They're still higher than they were, you know, 3 years ago or whatever, but comparatively speaking, they're, you know, the ratio is bad or worse. When you ratio the fuel rate or the fuel costs with the rates. So he goes out and buys this truck for $200,000. God, I keep repeating that. Sorry, guys. Oh my gosh, my mind has been like gone this week, or at least the past couple days anyway. It's been a stressful week. So what I was saying was, you know, people are driving down the freight rates. And that's because they're taking loads, and the brokers know that these drivers are going to take these loads. And that's why the rates are continuing to go down. It's because it's just, they keep moving the goalpost. The broker keeps moving the goalpost, and somebody keeps taking that load. Well, the same thing can be said about the price of equipment. You're paying that kind of money for a truck and a trailer, and the dealers know this. If people stopped buying that stuff, just like if, you know, drivers stopped taking loads for $2 a mile that were normally going for almost $4. If drivers, you know, if they stopped buying the equipment for $200,000, then dealers would have no choice but to bring the prices back down. But they know that people are going to pay the prices. So what you got there is the perfect storm, or the opposite of a perfect storm. I mean, a really bad storm for some of these owner-operators, because they go out and they finance this equipment, you know, with tractor and trailer for maybe $260,000, and then the rates are plummeting. And the problem is, though, is that the reason, you know, it's a vicious cycle, and it all starts with these drivers that are paying these exorbitant costs for this equipment, because then they buy that equipment, and then they have to find loads, and they get desperate to find loads. They get desperate to find loads, then they book the loads for, you know, pennies on the dollar compared to what they were going for. So it is a vicious cycle, but they are doing it to themselves. And then, because of them doing it to themselves, it affects everybody else. But it all starts with these people that are buying $200,000+ used trucks. And then $60,000+ trailers. Or if you're buying a brand new Drivein, 80 or 90. For God's sakes, a year ago, you could buy a brand new Drivein for like 35 grand. If you wanted a nicer one, like an owner-op spec, with some nice polished aluminum wheels and all that stuff, and, just more of a prettier trailer, maybe 40. But 90 grand now for a base model Drivein. It's just, it's unbelievable. But like I said, I cannot feel bad for the people that have gotten themselves into this situation. I really can't. Because they're screwing it up for everybody else that is doing it legitimately. That did not go out and spend $200,000 on a $100,000 truck, and then are forced to drive, or are forced to haul a $4 a mile load for $2 a mile. Oh, that's a pretty view right there. But you get what I'm saying, though? It took me a while to say it. I'm going to have to edit it down a little bit. Now that I'm back on the road. Now that I'm back on cruising road here. But you get what I'm saying? It all starts with the driver that pays that exorbitant cost for a truck, because they're the ones that are going to be in the desperate need of a load to make that payment, and then they're the ones that are then driving down the rates. It's an ironic but vicious cycle. The ones that are desperate are the ones that are the reason for it. I mean, it's baffling to me. These, it's just baffling to me. It really is. They don't, what's the saying? They can't see the forest for the trees, or they can't see the forest through the trees, or something, whatever that saying is. But that's the problem, though. The whole reason that the rates are going down is because of people like them that are spending crazy amounts of money on trucks. That's my opinion. I know there's going to be some differing opinions, but that is just simply my opinion. And to me, it makes sense. Otherwise, I wouldn't have it as an opinion. And there's a lot of other logical theories and opinions out there. But I don't know. I mean, like I said, if you're going to have $200,000 to $260,000 of equipment financed, and you're new at it, you don't even know the lanes yet. I mean, from what I'm getting, the guy that rode in the Asian Mai, from what I'm getting, he was new. He's a new owner operator. So more than likely, he doesn't know what it's like to be an owner operator. And I'm not saying that a new owner operator can't succeed, but you sure as hell don't become. You don't open a business that you've never ran before with the most expensive truck you can find. That's just silly. Because, I mean, did research before, but you really don't learn it until you get out there and do it and learn firsthand where the lanes are, where the freight is, what your most desirable lane is. The states to stay out of, or if you're going to go into these states, request a premium rate to go in because you're going to be most likely deadheading out. You don't know this stuff right away. And sometimes that stuff changes. Sometimes a state that used to be really good to go into and come out of, it's still good to go into, but it's crap to come out of. So you've got to constantly be looking at the rates and seeing what they're doing, what's going where, what's coming out of where. What I should ask for to go to this state, what I should ask for to go to that state. What's the terrain like going into this state? What's the terrain like, going into that state? Is it mountainous? Is it flat? Whatever. If it's flat, is it really windy? Because that's going to play a big part in your fuel mileage too. Is it a state that's known for a lot of wind? You've got to think about this stuff. But that's stuff you don't think about when you're a new owner-operator, and then you go out and finance $200,000+ in equipment, and then the rates drop, and you can't afford the equipment anymore, so you're desperate and taking loads for $2 a mile that we should be taking for at least $3 to $3.50 a mile. But it all started because you financed that grossly inflated truck. When you get into business, anybody that you have to buy something from or that you're doing business with, you have to look at them as predatory. Because they're in it to make money, and we're in it to make money. So you've got to look at the salesmen at these dealerships, or the dealerships themselves. You've got to look at them as predatory. They want to make as much money off of you as they can. And when they see that you're going to pay these crazy prices, they're just going to keep going up and up and up. Because they're just going to they're going to keep asking for more, and then they're going to keep getting it. And if they keep getting it, they'll keep asking it. Same with the brokers. They're going to keep lowering and lowering and lowering because people will keep taking and taking and taking. That's just business. But you've got to know when to put your foot down. You've got to know when is the right time to buy into that business. I got into this business in 2018. That's when I got my first truck. Now, I've been a driver since 2008. But I got into the business, I put my own skin in the game in 2018. And then I rode it out through 2019 and the pandemic. But yeah, you've just gotta use some common sense. And like I said, if you had any sort of ability to do research on this stuff, you would see why $200,000 today for a truck is ridiculous. They weren't selling for $200,000 brand new with taxes in 2020 when that truck was brand new, or 2019. I'm assuming it probably sold in 2019. They were asking, it wasn't a $200,000 truck out the door with taxes. And then you want to complain about the freight rates. And you've just, like I said, you are doing it to yourself. got down to that gorge down here on 19. Pretty area. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys understand what I'm saying, and I'm sure a lot of you do. And if there's any new owner-operators or people that are thinking about becoming an owner-operator and you're listening to this video, like I said, I'll probably have to edit it down. I apologize for being so repetitive, but I'm just trying to hammer it in there why things are going on like they're going, or why things are doing what they're doing. And like I said, a lot of it starts with these expensive equipment costs. And some people might think, well, gee, if equipment's so expensive and then fuel's so expensive, then shouldn't rates be going up? In a perfect world, yeah, rates would be going up right now. But it's not a perfect world. It is a predatory world. And the brokers are taking full advantage. They see that you're paying these crazy prices for trucks, and which you do have a choice about the truck. You don't have to buy that truck. But then once you do buy the truck, you're paying these crazy prices for fuel, and that you don't have a choice over if you already have the truck. And the brokers see that, and they know there are going to be some drivers that haven't planned it right, and they're going to be just all about taking load after load after load. They don't care. They don't understand what their cost per mile is. They don't care, or even if they do know what their cost per mile is, they don't understand what the wear and tear is on the truck when they're hauling these loads for below their cost, their cost to run the truck. All they do is they think of it as money to fill the fuel tank to get to the next load. But sometimes it behooves you to deadhead to the next load, even if it's 300 or 400 miles. It's a lot less wear and tear on your truck, and it's a lot better fuel mileage. And if you play your cards right, you'll get a good rate, even factoring in the deadhead. I've been doing a lot of deadhead this week, but I'm still averaging with my deadhead probably around $4.50 a mile or so. That's including my deadhead, and I've done a lot of deadhead this week. But that's what you got to do sometimes. And then the brokers, like I said, the brokers will see. The brokers aren't stupid. They know that you have these crazy high truck payments now and this crazy high fuel bill. And they know that because you're desperate, you'll take it for what they're going to give it to you for. No questions asked. And then it just declines, and that's the decline that we're on right now. And yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that freight volumes themselves aren't going down. Freight volumes are going down too, which plays a big part in it. I'm not going to lie and say it doesn't. The freight volumes do play a big part. But it also plays a big part that the brokers simply know that a lot of these drivers have no choice but to take what they'll give them. So yeah, don't buy these trucks. You know, everybody's saying don't take cheap freight, don't take cheap freight. But nobody's making a big fuss about don't buy expensive trucks, don't buy overinflated equipment. But it all falls under the same purview. It all rolls into the same big giant snowball from hell. And then when you do that to yourself, you're doing it to everybody else. But anyways, guys, I'll catch you later. I'm gonna finish my drive going on down here to Whitfield. But let me know, guys, in the comments, what do you think about my opinion? I mean, you guys usually have no issue telling me what you think about my opinion. But you know, like, what are you guys doing? You know, what's your opinion on these overinflated trucks and how they're playing into what the freight rates are right now? Do you think that these overinflated trucks have any bearing on what the rates are doing right now? Or do you think I'm just absolutely full of crap? Let me know. guys, yeah, I'm gonna go and get off here. Y'all have it going out there,